In today's video, we're gonna lift the mystery of an old film, so let's start right in. So today's video kind of fell into my hands, I mean literally. Today I was browsing through a social second-hand warehouse which is in my city, and while I was browsing I saw something in a glass vitrine. I saw this, a camera bag. And I thought, well, it's a camera bag, so maybe in the camera bag there still is a camera. So I asked one of the employees if he would be so kind to open up the vitrine for me so I could further examine the maybe camera. And yes, of course, there is a camera in this thing. It's a 6x6 medium format camera. It's a bellows camera, so there is no viewfinder or mirror in it or something like this. And yet I have no idea about which model of camera this is. I'm gonna find this out in another video. And we're gonna have to clean the camera. Obviously it's very dirty, so I'm also gonna do this in another video. It will be in the next video, so I'm gonna tell you what camera it is. Also I further gonna clean this camera live on camera. I clean the camera on camera. That's cool. So I'm gonna clean the camera on the video, and yeah. And in today's video we're gonna find out something very cool. What I found out while I was inspecting the camera is that there still is a film inside of it. I have no idea what kind of film it is. I hope it is a black and white film, since if it is a black and white film, I'm gonna develop it by myself. And yeah, I'm absolutely curious about what's on this film. So, well, first let's have a look at the camera. So I'm just doing this all the time and you don't see the camera. That's pointless. Okay, here we go. Now that's the camera. And as you might see here, it is very dirty. There already is some green stuff on the metal on different parts, and also I'd say it smells a bit like, I'm not sure it's fungus. I think it's more like nicotine or something like this. And yeah, so this thing definitely needs a cleaning. Also, you cannot really watch through the viewfinder since there is a fork in it. Okay, now let's open the camera up. Here we go, like so. No, like so. Yeah, as mentioned, it's a bellows camera, medium format, 6x6, with a 75mm lens. That's all I know so far. But as already mentioned, in this video, everything is about finding out what's on the film, because I'm super curious. Now what we're gonna do next is I'm switching the scenery a bit. Then we're gonna take the film out of the camera. Okay, welcome back. Now, as already mentioned, let's take the film out of the camera. Therefore, we're gonna have to remove the camera from this, from the camera bag, from the leather bag. And I can't mention this often enough. I encourage you not to store your old cameras in these leather bags, because these leather bags, well, how to say it? Well, they support that the lens will get some fungus, okay? So this thing helps fungus to grow. So I do not recommend you to use a leather bag. You can transport it in the leather bag, you can have it out with you in the leather bag, but if you want to store it for longer, do not use the leather bag. I generally do not recommend this. Now, let's take the camera out. Here we are. And now let's first check here in the red window. Yes, the film says exposed. Now it says we have to turn it this direction. Well, let's turn it until the film is on the spool. So it's going from here over to there. Means that the film was loaded in on this side and will be removed on that side. And it says something. I'm trying to read it, but I can't read it. Honestly, I really hope I can find out what kind of film that is. Color, oh yes. It's Agfa Color. So, well, I'm afraid I have to send the film in for development. Now let's open up the back. And here we are. Here we go. Okay. Oosh, this sounds not good. Okay, this obviously is an Agfa Color film. Wow. So, to be honest, this film is super old. It's still made in Germany, so in the old Agfa facility. And wow, I'm not quite sure that this will give us any results. Okay, then the mission is as follows. I'm gonna send this film off for development, and I'm coming back and the results of the film. I was honestly hoping for a black and white negative film because I could develop it by myself, but under the circumstances I'd better hand over for a professional lab. And even though that I'm gonna send it over to a professional lab, the chances of having some good results here aren't too good. So, well, it's worth a trial, but I'm not awaiting too much, okay? So maybe it turns out that the film is completely overexposed, too old to develop or whatever, or maybe there already is fungus inside of the film. We don't know that. Welcome back to the video. Thanks to the magic of video editing, a few hours have passed. Well, actually it's a complete day, but it was only a few hours until the film was developed. So, the film is back from the lab. I brought it to a local lab. We still have some in our city, and they developed it for me. Now, first let me tell you something about the film. This Agfa film originally had two versions. An old version, which was produced until 1989, and the second version, which one was produced until 1996. So, no matter how old this film is, it is at least 24 years old. Means it's stuck in this camera for at least 24 years. How can I know that? Well, I already examined the pictures quite a bit. And the people on the pictures, well, at least what I can see from the negatives, which isn't too easy, look very like mid to end from the style. They look very much like mid and 80s, like, yes, something like that. The style you were wearing at this time. Means I assume this film stuck in this camera for 24 to about 30 years. Well, keeping that in mind, it is no big surprise that the outcoming result wasn't or isn't too nice. So what you can see here is that the negatives aren't, well, orangish as they would usually be, so there usually is this orange mask on the negative, but they are kind of greenish, brownish, more towards the green side. So I'm assuming they will be very magenta-ish after scanning. We're gonna see. And also what I want to tell you up front is that I cannot show you all of the images from this film, simply because from what I see there are persons on the images, and I assume that when this film is from the mid to late 80s, that some or maybe all of these persons are still alive, and therefore I of course want to respect their privacy, and that's why I'm not gonna show you pictures with people on. Means there is one original image that I can show you, which is a kind of a double exposure, and then there are two images which I shot by myself. I already told you in the beginning that there were two images left. So I shot an image out of my window and I tried to make one picture of my cat, of course without even knowing which film speed was in the camera. So I had absolutely no idea about the film in the camera, the speed of the film. So I'm well, super curious on how this is gonna look. So let's do the following thing. I'm gonna scan in the images real quick, and in a few seconds, thanks to video editing again, we will see each other here again, and I will show you some of the pictures. I finished scanning in the pictures, and what I found was exactly what I expected to see. Most of the pictures were absolutely discolorized, very on the magenta-ish side, and there are lots of people on it. Therefore, as already mentioned, I'm of course not gonna show these pictures because I wanna, well, respect the privacy of these people. What I'm gonna show you is, as promised, the double exposure and the two pictures that I took. And already there you will see that it's not really worth showing you all of the pictures because they mostly look exactly the same color-wise and quality-wise. So what you can see now is the picture from the double exposure that I mentioned just a few seconds before. As you can see, the greens in the middle are quite okay and it looks, well, like a nice picture. What you can see next is the picture I took out of the window. I already tried to do, well, a color cast correction, but I gave up on it. It's simply too destroyed. There is no way of repairing it, at least not a convenient way. Maybe there is something that I could do in Photoshop with masking and layering and so on and so forth, but no, not really. No, I don't have too much time. And the next picture you're going to see was me trying to take a picture of my cat, which obviously was too dark, simply due to the fact that I had no idea of the film speed. And it was a 200 ISO film. I'm so sorry, you can hear this? There is some construction works going on here in the house and it's annoying. It goes like this the whole day. So, to make it short, well, it was kind of interesting to develop such an old film, but I will very much think about developing old color films in future, because for me it didn't really work out and it wasn't really like too useful to develop a nearly 30 years old color film. But as already mentioned, that's what I had expected, so I knew this probably would happen. But I think it was a nice experiment. Nonetheless, most of the time, if you find old black and white films, they can, if you treat them right, come out extremely good. So especially if you compensate for the time they have been the camera and so on and so forth. Okay, to make this thing short, I say thanks for watching this video, and as already mentioned, in the next video I'm planning on showing you how I clean this camera, and also give you some more detailed information about the camera itself. Yeah, I'd say until then, don't miss the video. See you soon. Bye. Oh wait, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.